give you information that's beneficial for your life. And the information we will give you will help you prepare for the time to come. That's the whole point of this. We don't ask anything in return but for you to understand and prepare. Let's go back to the beginning. Because this war didn't start with nations. This war started in the belly of a black woman named Rebecca. It started in the belly of a sister named Rebecca. Let's go back to Genesis, the 25th chapter. And let me make this clear. I'm not here race baiting. I'm just telling you the truth. Okay? This pending war is racial. It have always been racial. It's just that what side of the race you're going to stand on. You're going to stand on the side, the race of Christ, or you're going to stand on the side of the race that was trying to kill Christ at his birth. Because that's what it was. It was genocide when they was looking to racially destroy the king of Israel. That was racial. It was racial when the Hamites wanted to destroy Moses and kill them all in fear that the king would come through the loins of Jacob. You think that's changed? There's nothing new under the sun. They're looking to destroy Jacob today and mass genocide. That's really the plan. But if you don't know history, you will be on the wrong side of history. Now, I'm going back to the beginning with this struggle in the womb. And I'm going to show you beyond any shadow of a doubt that that same struggle happens today. We're going to give you the history of Jacob and Esau. And we're going to show you how Jacob operates. And we're going to show you how Esau operates. That's the war. That's the war. All right? Now, the problem is you have shields on both sides. You have those of Esau who would come through and work with the children of Israel and work with Christ's people to help protect them in that time of trouble. And you have some who would come and infiltrate to destroy in that time of trouble. And you have that on both sides. Even Jacob. You have Jacob who will sell their own brother out for this system. That happens in this earth. You have Jacob say, well, listen, don't worry about the Bible. Don't look at the Bible. But let me tell you, all the other nations are just players in the game. But when it's prophetic and comes to worldwide domination, there's really a war between two. Just two. Jacob and Esau. Let's go to Genesis 25.
Genesis chapter 25, verse 20. And Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah to wife, the daughter of Bethuel, the Syrian of Padan Aram, the sister of Laban, the Syrian. And Isaac entreated the Most High for his wife, because she was barren. And the Most High was entreated of him, and Rebekah his wife conceived.
So what happened here is Isaac prayed to the Most High because regardless of how many tries, they were trying to have a child and couldn't. She was barren. So Isaac prayed to the Most High, and Rebekah became pregnant. Read.
Verse 22. And the children struggled together within it.
They fought in the woman's womb. What were they fighting for? They were fighting for dominion and rulership in the woman's womb. Read.
And she said, if it be so, why am I thus?
So if I'm blessed to have a child when I couldn't, why am I going through these unorthodox, these serious pains? Read.
And she went to inquire of the Most High.
So she went to pray to the Most High to get some spiritual answer. Read.
Verse 23. And the Most High said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb.
And the Most High told her, there's 2 separate nationalities within you. Now, this is the first time this have ever happened in history. in which you would have two different distinct DNA strands, two distinct nationalities, and one that comes from one black woman and one black man. That was unheard of, to have a separate nationality in the same womb. But that's what happened here. So the Most High says, listen, you got two children in your womb that's fighting against each other. They're two distinct nationalities. Read.
And two manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels.
Two distinct people shall be separated from birth. That means these children will not be able to coexist without fighting. Read.
And the one people shall be stronger than the other people.
You would have one people who would be physically stronger than the other people. Okay? And see, and that's why they came up with all these, what you would call social engineering and medicines and pharmacy and vaccinations to break down the stronger gene pool. That's a war tactic. If they know these people are physically strong and they can't take these people physically, then they would have to break them down genetically. That's what this thing is all about, brothers and sisters. It's that same war that I'm reading about, and I'm going to prove it. Read.
And the elder shall serve the younger.
And it was meant that the firstborn that would come out would actually serve the younger brother. So now, let's sit back. Let's not rush this. Let's just think about this for a second. For the first time, a child that comes out first would not be heir to his father's inheritance. Now think about that. He would not be heir to his father's dominion. So you got two children struggling to come out first because, you know, whoever comes out first gets the promises of Abraham. But the Most High did two things that he never did before. He put two separate nations in one womb, and he also made sure that the first one that come out would not be the promised son. All that fighting, you get out first, and you are not the promised seed. And see, and that's why in this society today, you notice in their institutions, they try to downplay the Bible, have you question the Bible, and try to say that the Bible, you don't know who really wrote the Bible is tampered with. This is why they're putting those things out there. You have some people who's in charge of these institutions who have a problem with God giving the promise to the second born, to the one that came out second. Now, if he would have come out and been the promise, then of course, there would be nothing wrong with the Bible right now. It would be the perfect book. Read.
Verse 24. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, the twins were in her womb, and the first came out red.
Now the first, when it says the first came out red, the first is the child that would not get the promise. So the first came out red. Now this is the first, another first. There's a lot of firsts happening in this chapter here. That's why you have to sit back and really examine this chapter. There's a lot of firsts in this chapter. When it says that the first came out red, and they call his name what?
And the first came out red all over like an hairy garment, and they called his name Esau.
So he was red from head to toe, which means he had a lack of melanin. Another first in this earth, in which a person can be identified entirely different than every other person who was born before that time. Now, that's why it describes Esau and not describe the color of Jacob, because Jacob came out looking like everyone else. So here it is, Esau would have a distinction that would separate him from the rest of the races in the earth that were people of color at that time. Read.
Verse 26. And after that came his brother out, and